everyone and welcome back to my channel. So I fell incredibly behind on vlogmas and I want to catch up, but I don't know what videos to record, and I'm like, getting so stressed with all the videos that I fell behind on for vlogmas and then finals and everything. So I got stressed on that and I'm like, what should I record that's quick and simple and I can just get it out of the way? And I thought, oh, you know what? Why not talk about my books? Because I like watching videos about people's books and like what they have and what they read and haven't read and what they're going to read. So I was like, why not talk about that? Why not do a video about that? If you find it boring, I'm sorry about that, but to me those videos are entertaining. So I'll try to make it as entertaining as I can. But you get what you get. So I'm gonna try and do this as fast as I can while my mom is out getting my brother. So this is my bookshelf area, my little library, if you will. Here I have my little brother's books. These are Anthony's books. Here, this first row right here are books that I am going to read sometime soon. And then down here are all the books I read. So for this video, I am going to talk about the books that I have read, and then for the next video, I am going to talk the books that I will read. So for this video, the books that I have read since from 2020 to now. Start down here. I have read the Selection series. I read the first one all the way to The Crown, and I absolutely love this series. I loved it. And she has become my most favorite author ever. I have read all her books. Well, almost all her books. I still have one more to read. So I read The Selection in 2020. Funny story, I got this 3-pack right here. Oh, it's dusty. I got this 3-pack right here when I was in, I want to say 8th grade for Christmas. And I tried reading it, but I tried reading the first one and I couldn't get into it. I wasn't enjoying it. I didn't understand it. So I just never touched it again. And then during the pandemic, 2020, I was like, you know what? I'm bored. I don't feel like watching TV or YouTube anymore. I want something to do. So that's when I started reading this book, and I absolutely fell in love with it. I read the rest of the series. I had these two, I read these two, and then I bought this one on Amazon, which I wish they had the hardcover because I don't like how it goes hardcover and then paperback, but I absolutely love this series. And then I was like, oh my god, I'm in love with this author. I want to read more of her books. Got The Siren. In this book, The Siren was literally heartbreaking for me. It was like the type of book that it's like, it like messes with your heartstrings, you know? It's like, is there a happy ending? Like, I kept thinking, is there gonna be a happy ending? Because it felt so depressing throughout the book. And I'm like, when is there gonna be a happy ending? Like, it doesn't look like it's gonna happen. But it does happen. There is a happy ending. You just gotta wait for it. And then I read her 2 newest series, The Betrothed and The Betrayed. Here, I'll show you guys because the covers are like really pretty. By Kira Cass. You see how beautiful that is? I freaking love her princess books. I love her writing. I love her stories. I think The Siren is the first one that she published. And then I think it goes with The Selection. And then these two. And then her newest one. I think that's the order for her books. But yes, I love these two. I kind of spoiled the ending of The Betrothed, the first one. And then I was like, oh my gosh, how is she going to do that if it ends this way? But I loved how she wrote the stories in the book, and the characters are amazing. Next, I read Jennifer Lynn Barnes' The Lovely and the Lost. This was the first book of hers that I've ever read, and I absolutely fell in love with it. And it's so good. If I were to give it a rating out of 5 stars, it would probably be a 3.5, because there were times where I got kind of bored, but I did like the characters and I liked what she was doing with the story, and I absolutely loved the ending of it. And after reading this book for the first time, like this story of hers for the first time, I was like, I want to read more of hers. So I Googled her and I saw that she wrote the Natural series, which is now becoming popular. And at the time, it wasn't popular and I couldn't find it anywhere. Like, I couldn't find the Natural series anywhere. And I was like, okay, that's so upsetting because I really want to read it. And now that her new series, the Inheritance Games, have become popular, now the Naturals is becoming popular. And I still can't find it anywhere because I guess more people are buying it and it's just never in stock. I don't know, but I really want to read all her books because she is now my new other favorite author. It goes Carrie Cass, it goes Jennifer Lynn Barnes, it goes Karen M. McManus, I don't know how to pronounce her name, and then Holly Jackson. So the way I have my books is in order, like down here, the ones I read, it's in order of my favorite authors, and then when you get to like the third row, it's just random books, but yeah. So yeah, I read Lovely and the Lost, and then I went to Barnes & Noble one day with my friend, and I heard of the Inheritance Games. Like, I heard of it because it was like popular at TikTok during that time. And I never knew it was Jennifer Lynn Barnes who wrote it until after I bought the book. And I like was reading it, and I was like looking at the author's name, and I'm like, where did I see that name before? And I looked at my books, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's Jennifer Lynn Barnes. And I absolutely fell in love with this whole series. I have the 4th one, The Brothers Hawthorns, and I haven't got around to reading it, but I love the Inheritance Games. I love the Hawthorne Legacy, the Final Gambit. I loved it. I love the characters. Oh my god, Jameson and Grayson, I would literally die for them. And then moving on to this second row, and my third favorite author. Honestly though, I would probably change it to her being the second instead of Jennifer Lynn Barnes, but how this is hardcover, I think it goes better. But if I were to actually put them in order, it would be Kira Cass, Karen, and then Jennifer, and then Holly Jackson. But I have read every book of Karen except for One of Us Is Back. But I just love the way she does it. I love the way she writes. I love how she puts romance as a subplot. Like she is so good at making romance as a subplot. She's just brilliant. So all her books that I've read, and I think I've read all of them. I think this is all her books. One of Us Is Lying, One of Us Is Next, Nothing More to Tell, You'll Be the Death of Me, The Cousins, Two Can Keep a Secret, and Two Can Keep a Secret. Those are all her books. I think these are all her books. These are all her books. I have read all of them except for One of Us Is Back. And The Cousins, I absolutely loved. It was so good. It was the most recent one of hers that I have read, and I loved it so much. It had me at the edge of my seat. It had me literally guessing. Like, I would be like, oh my gosh, I know what she's trying to do. I know what's going to happen next. And then I got it wrong, and I was like, oh my gosh. Like that, I love it when books do that, you know, because sometimes I can guess what's happening, and I get it right, and I'm just like, okay, that's great. But with hers, I always get it wrong. Like, and there was one part of the book that I got right, but the rest of it, I did not get right. Okay, moving on. Literally all her books, though, I would say it's like a 5, except for, I would say Two Can Keep a Secret. Because, to be honest, I don't really remember much about that book. And it's just, I enjoyed it, but I think I'll give it a 3. Because I didn't really like how it ended. Yeah, I didn't really like how it ended. Okay, moving on. Holly Jackson. Do I have another of her books? No, huh? Wait, yeah, I do. I have Five Survive. I haven't read that one yet. I think that's all her books, to be honest. I think this is all she wrote. But I read Killjoy, which is like the prologue for Good Girl's Guide to Murder. So I read that whole series, Good Girl's Guide to Murder, Good Girl, Bad Blood, and As Good as Dead. Love that series. And I have Five Survive that I haven't gone around to reading it. But I do enjoy her books. I want to say that she is another favorite author of mine but I don't want to say it yet because I haven't read all of her books yet, and I want to read all her books and get more of a taste of her writing to say that she's my favorite, you know? Okay, and moving on to the third row. Oop, guys, got a bumpy ride there. To the third row. You guys like my little stuffed animals? I got this from the first time I went to Las Vegas when I was like, I'm gonna say 15, 14? I don't know. I was a kid with my family. And then this little doggy I had since middle school. I got it for Valentine's Day from an old friend of mine. I had another stuffed animal up here that I got from a guy that asked me to prom. But I had to move it because I needed more room, so I had to move it. Oh, and I gotta clean this. This is dusty. Okay, so the books I read down here. Can you guys see it? Hopefully you can. Sorry if you can't. Hold on. Can you guys see it? Okay, there. Okay, so my grandpa, like, he likes to read and he gives me books from like garage sales that he goes to. And he got me the Pretty Little Liars book. And I wanted to read it because I saw the entire TV series. So I was like, I'll read the book. So I read that one. And then I wanted to read the rest of the series. So I bought the second one. And I don't think I enjoyed it. It was a while ago since I read them. And I don't really remember enjoying it. But I do want to buy the rest of the series. I think there's like 15 books in this Pretty Little Liars book series, which is a lot. But I want to read them all because I've seen the whole entire show and I want to know what the books are about, you know? Because, you know, nothing's ever the same. And moving on, I have read Wake, Fade, and Gone by, what was her name again? Liza McMahon, however you pronounce her name. Now, here's a story about this book series. So I've read all three of these books. I read the first two in sophomore year. I read the first two of the books in sophomore year, and I absolutely loved it and enjoyed it. And I got the third one from my teacher. That's why I look so older than these two, because I had this from my teacher who gave it to me, and I just never finished it, and I just didn't have the chance to return the book to her. So I ended up keeping it, and I just wanted to read it again, so I ended up buying the first two from Amazon, which is why this one is a hardcover and the other a paperback. Because for this cover to match these two, it had to be in hardcover because they didn't have it in paperback. They changed it. And I remember loving it sophomore year, but when I read it again, I didn't really enjoy it as much as I did before. And then moving on, I have read my first ever Jane Austen book. I just realized I'm not saying the years I read these. Just picture from 2020. So the first selection is from 2020, okay? And then you move on, 2021, 2022, 2023, 2030, now. I started reading this, my first ever Jane Austen book, Persuasion. I did not like it at all. I know people love her writing and love her books, but I didn't like it. I didn't enjoy it. I think it's because it's Old English and I didn't understand what was going on. I was lost during the entire book. I was just very, very confused and I didn't like it very much. Which makes me feel bad because I know she's very popular and people love her writing, but I just couldn't get into it. And Pretty Dead Queens. I thought this book was going to be so good. Because I read the first sentence, I was like, oh, this is really good. But I will give it a 2, to be honest. A 2.5. Because I did like how it ended. the ending was very like, oh wow, did not expect that. But the book felt kind of over the place, and it felt like the writer was really trying to hit the Gen Z audience with how she had her teenage characters talk. Like, she made so many references that I didn't understand, and then she kept talking about TikTok every few seconds, and it felt confusing to me and kind of dragged. And in this book, there's 2 murder mysteries, right? There's one from the past that her grandmother wrote a book about. So that was one of them, and then another one was one that she witnessed. So she's trying to solve that mystery that she witnessed, and while she's doing so, she's also unraveling her grandmother's past and her grandmother's book. And that one, I could guess right away. I was like, okay, I know who did this. And I ended up forgetting about it until it was mentioned at the end of the story. And I was like, oh my God, I totally forgot about that. Because it was more focused about her solving the murder that she witnessed, you know? So, I don't know, it made me really lost a few times and kind of annoyed with how she had her characters speak. And she tried doing a love triangle thing, which sometimes I'm okay with because most authors do it right. She didn't do it right because she had this girl move into a new town, meet 2 guys, and instantly dates the first guy while she's also kind of pining for the other guy. And I was just like, girl, she just met this dude. Why is she dating this dude when she just met him? And I didn't like how she did that. But moving on to a book that I did like, The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I love this book. Taylor Jenkins Reid did such an excellent job with this, and the way she would like move from each timeline, it was brilliant. It was just mind-baffling, just incredible. I loved it. And then this book, Girl on the Walls, which I think this author wrote a book, I wish I could remember the name, and it's not in here. Netflix series, I think he wrote one. I think it's called A Woman in the Window. I think that's what it's called. Girl on the Walls. It was good. It was like edge of my seat. I did get confused a few times with like which character was talking or not. I did get lost a few times with this book, and there were a few times where I wouldn't touch it for a few weeks, but nonetheless, I did enjoy it. It was good. I love the ending. It got me so confused a few times. Or maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm just slow. Okay. And then to the last books that I have read. And this video is going for 18 minutes. When They Call You a Terrorist, I read this for English class. Darkly Dreaming Dexter, read this for English class. Loved it. As you can tell, a lot of notes for English. It was really good. The One I Left Behind, I remember liking it. I read this a while ago. I remember liking it. A lot of time jumps. It goes from like past to the present a lot. So I get kind of like confused. Like I get lost. Like wait. This happened in the past. And I was like, oh wait. Am I in the present? So I get confused. But it was good. It's another mystery. And like the fact that you don't know who it is, like most of these books you can tell. This book I couldn't tell, and that I kind of enjoyed that. All Can Save, read this for English. Love and Gelato, saw the movie, hate it, read the book, love it. Love Hypothesis, love it. It's so good. Oh my gosh, Allie Hazelwood, I want more of her books. The Unhoneymooners, absolutely adored it. The Boy, the Mall, the Fox, and the Horse. It's an Apple TV movie as well, and I love the movie, and that's why I got the book, and I absolutely adore the book. I think it's adorable. And then Peter Rabbit. I haven't read the whole thing, but I got it because, like, come on, it's Peter Rabbit. Like, why not get it? there you have it. Every book I have read from 2020 to now. I'm sorry I didn't say the years that I read it, but to be honest, I don't remember the years I read these books. I just remember that I read them from the year 2020 all the way to now, 2023. But those are all the books I have read. Please comment down below what Vlogmas videos you guys would like to see before Vlogmas ends, because I'm running out of ideas. I'm getting stressed with it. So please comment down below. And thanks for watching. Let me know, comment down below also if you have read any of these books, because I would love to talk about it. And I will see you guys in the next Vlogmas video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and adios.